Hello, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar, New Capabilities in Unitrends Next Generation Software. My name is Kevin Collins from Unitrends, and I'm also here with Dick Sappler, Product Marketing Manager, and he'll be taking us through the presentation. Don't forget, one lucky attendee will be walking away with a $100 Amazon gift card. We'll contact the winner via email after the webinar. But before we get started, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. This session will be recorded, and after the event, you'll receive an email with a link to the on-demand version of the webinar. I would also encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation. You can do so by typing them into the bottom right of the player. We'll answer your questions at the end of the session. At this point, I'll turn it over to Dick. Enjoy the presentation, and Dick, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming today. I hope not to take too much of your time, looking about 20 to 30 minutes. As Kevin said, my name is Dick Sappler. I'm Product Marketing Manager for Unitrends. I'm based in Burlington, Massachusetts, which is where I'm coming to you from today on a beautiful sunny day. So really what I want to talk about is the new features that are included in our next generation software. So last Friday, we released version 10.1 of our operating system, and so all of the features that I'm describing today are included in that version of the software. So if you have already ordered a system and it has not yet been delivered, or you haven't gone through onboarding, it will include this operating system. And existing customers will be upgraded to 10.1 as we go along. But if there are particular features that you like with this operating system, you can request to get put on a special whitelist to get moved up in the queue to get this new operating system installed. So if this is something that's attractive to you, and I hope it is, you can put your hand up and ask to get moved up in the queue. Okay, so what are we really talking about today? Well, we're really talking about shortening the time to recovery. And in downtime, minutes matter, and it's really expensive. We have done many, many surveys of not only our customers, but other users in the industry, and we, along with many of the other backup vendors, have really kind of settled on the average cost of downtime of being about $9,000 per minute. Obviously, that changes if depending on your industry, depending on the size of your company, what particular application could be down. You know, is an ERP system, a sales system, email, which is absolutely critical. But what this chart shows you is that even moving from 99.9% uptime, which equates to about 44 minutes of downtime per month, or costing about $400,000, it's shortening that down to 4 nines and getting that downtime down to 4 minutes per month. You literally save almost $350,000 a year. So minutes matter. So the focus of many of these new capabilities are faster recovery. So there's lots of things that are in the 10.1 software. New features, some enhancements to existing capabilities. We have some customer experience improvements, things that have been requested by customers in the past, and a new certification of Zen Server 7.2. But really what I want to talk today about is really the top 5 capabilities. There's 3 new features and the 2 new killer enhancements, and what they will mean to you as users of Unitrends products. So 5 10.1 features that can immediately improve your recovery times. And the first one is something that will be familiar to those of you who have used our Windows Instant Recovery, but we now have the Replicas and Instant Recovery for VMware environments. This is really good for VM environments if you have a large number of VMware VMs, or if you have larger VMs that are, either of those are really not that suitable for hosting on a backup appliance. But what you can do now is you can actually make a copy or a replica of the VMware environment on a remote server in a data center. This is not appropriate for the cloud. This is really data center to data center, and then literally, it's your data is kept up to date through the normal backup and incremental backups that we do, and that remote copy then is updated and kept refreshed. And then during a disaster, if it is a data center-wide disaster and the backup appliance is not capable of coming back online, you can literally bring those replicas online within minutes. We talked about it being instant recovery. It is instant recovery, but it takes some time for applications to boot, so forth. But recovery is measured in minutes. So again, the highlights: the appliances replicate exact copies to the remote locations. It copies not just the data, but obviously all the software capable of bringing up an entire VMware environment. This is very similar to the instant recovery for physical Windows. You have large Windows servers, for those of you who are familiar with this process, and we create a VMware or a Hyper-V clone of those physical Windows environments, and then if we need to bring that up, you can bring it up without having to worry about reinstalling servers, server hardware, like hardware that you need in order to restore a physical device. And the good news is that these replicas and instant recovery can easily be tested and verified using Unitrends Recovery Assurance. So that we do, there's the whole science around testing and the need to bring up these environments in a test dev type environment and bring them up to full application performance so that you can ensure that the applications have everything they need in order to move into production. These replicas can be tested using Unitrends Recovery Assurance capabilities. You will get reports, and if there are any issues that are discovered will be identified so that you can correct them. So we're very excited about this replica capability, and this is part of 10.1. The second great new feature is support for Nutanix. There is a trend in the server industry and in the data center industry to move towards a hyper-converged infrastructure. Nutanix is one of them, I believe the leader, but it's basically taking the servers, storage, networking, and virtualization and putting it all in one box with its own management capabilities. So Nutanix has the capability of doing basic backup and data recovery, but it doesn't have the full features that organizations and larger enterprises have come to expect with data recovery and business continuity. So now, with version 10.1, we have native support for the AHV environment, Nutanix environment, without needing agents. So this is very important. We have, as IDC has said, that the hyper-converged market is growing at about 65% per year. Unitrends wants to be able to integrate and support that market. What Nutanix advertises is that their capability is to do private cloud computing, so we want to be able to support that. So this is also in the Enterprise Edition and Enterprise Plus Edition. You will need that in order to get this Nutanix support. So what it does, Unitrends can now natively protect AHV environments without the overhead and management of agents. And really what we do is we then bring to Nutanix users the ability to connect to enterprise clouds, particularly for disaster recovery as a service, which is a very large and fast-growing market for us. We have literally over 100 petabytes of customer information that is currently protected inside a Unitrends cloud. And also long-term data retention, which is a good feature of the Unitrends cloud. And so why should you care? Unified management, guest and hypervisor flexibility, and seamless access to Unitrends cloud. So good news for Nutanix users, or if you're planning to become a Nutanix user in the future. The third feature I'd like to highlight is that we've now added some security to integrated CDM. And what CDM is copy data management, and what that was a feature in our 9.2 operating system. It's the ability to spin up a test or dev environment using your backup data. So the number one cause, whenever we do surveys about the causes of downtime, the number one cause of downtime is generally employee error. But number two is bringing up bad software, patches or updates that haven't been tested on your production environment and cause problems with your production software. So how you fight that is you can use your backup data, which is an exact copy of your production environment. You spin that up into a test and dev environment, and now you can test your patches and your software releases on that data so that you know that when you do bring it up in your production environment that it's not going to cause you any problems. So with the security, what we have found is that some customers, that virus scanners and security features can put an overhead cost on your production environment. And there are some servers that just can't quite support running the applications plus doing the virus scan at the same time. So what we can do is now there is a version of ClamAv. It's an open source Linux-based antivirus software that'll be included, and we can actually run a security scan of the backup data prior to it being actually spun up into a test and dev environment. We all know that ransomware is a continuing and evolving threat. I'll talk about that more later in the presentation. But this is another step of making sure that the files are not infected by ransomware, and it offloads a bit of the security function into your backup systems. Security Integrated CDM comes in the Enterprise Plus edition only, and that's because Enterprise Plus is what you're required to do the copy data management capability. So adding that security, then you need to be consistent in the editions that you're using. Okay? Okay, and then the aforementioned ransomware. Ransomware continues to be a growing challenge for all of us. And the ransomware is evolving. It is, as you can see here, a large percentage of organizations are hit, have been down for more than a day. Even 70% paid the ransom, which is hard to believe, in that many of the ransomware criminals never really do restore your data. And the amount of spam that comes across your data, your average email user. You should have a virus scanner. You should be training your employees to what to look for ransomware clickbait. But all it takes is literally one employee, if you're a school, one teacher or student, in a hospital, one nurse, to click on the wrong link, and you can become infected with ransomware quite quickly. Just for your edification, you see that ransomware affects literally every single industry that's out there. But healthcare is heavily targeted because they know the data is so critical to the performance of hospitals and labs, doctors' offices, that they tend to pay more often and more quickly than any other industry. But you see healthcare, finance, and education are the top three, accounting for over 75% of the ransomware targets. So there are new variants of ransomware that are evolving on the marketplace. The ransomware now is evolving so that it works much more slowly and operates more in a stealth mode. Their objective obviously is to encrypt enough data to ensure that a ransom is paid. So by keeping their operations small, encrypting selected files or encrypting the files more slowly makes it harder for you to detect that they're actively involved in your environment. And so what we have done with version 10.1 is we have included artificial intelligence that now runs against every single backup against every single file. So every backup you run, ransomware detection is scanned against every single file. And what we do is we understand the footprint that ransomware can create in a file, the change rate. We look for data that has changed that shouldn't have changed. We look at previous backups to see what the normal change rate would be between incremental backups. And we can identify then files that we suspect have been hacked by ransomware. At that time, we immediately flag the suspected files with an icon so that they won't be used or shouldn't be used as part of a recovery process. And we immediately send an email and a dashboard alert to the administrators informing them that we have detected what we think is ransomware protection. This is entirely automated. There is no human intervention that is required in order to get this capability. So this is really part of a focus that we are working on called IT resiliency, and that is to build more automation into our applications and our infrastructure to perform the tasks and to automate the tasks that formerly would require human beings to do this. So this 10.1 includes ransomware 2.0. It comes in every variant, every edition of our software for our hardware, our recovery series appliances, as well as our software, Unitrends backup software. Okay, and the last feature that I think everyone should be interested in is that we have accelerated the capability of our cloud seeding, so that we are 3 to 5 times speed improvement for both onboarding and for restoring databases from our cloud. So, you know, we all know that it can take months to upload a 100 terabyte file over a 1 gigabit fiber WAN. You know, fiber WANs max out, there's contention with business operations and so forth. So when you are onboarding for DRAS or for cloud archiving, you can load your database onto a physical device. That can be tape, disk drives, removable drives, even servers themselves. You can then ship them overnight to our cloud locations, and then we can, using very quick process, to get that into the database, and then it's just a matter of doing incrementals to get it up to date, and now your database is in the cloud. And on the flip side, if you do have a disaster and need that data out of the cloud, we can produce a hardware device and ship it overnight to you so that you don't have to wait to get your production data back up and operating. We did have a customer called Salvation Army in Wisconsin. They had a water pipe burst, and they lost everything. There was oil in the water, elevator oil in the water, and even their cables could not be salvaged. So we were able to put their data onto a hardware, to a server, and actually ship it to them overnight. And quite frankly, the server was there before their data center was even clean. So cloud seeding is a very important capability for major disasters. So those are the 5 features that I wanted to highlight that are part of our 10.1 operating system. Again, if these interest you and you would like to get these capabilities faster than just waiting for your normal upgrade time, please let us know. We also have some capabilities that are on the web that you might be interested in. One is a 5-minute DR health check. We recommend that strongly. Take that. It takes about 5 minutes to answer some questions about the volume of recovery, the RPOs, RTOs, and so forth, and we can let you know, give you some estimates of what it would take in order to improve your recovery times. We have demos of new capabilities and products. Our sales SEs are available for demonstrations of these capabilities, and we look forward to engaging with you on them. So at this point, I'll turn this back to Kevin, and Kevin I'm sure, has collected a set of questions that we can address right now. Kevin?
All right, Dick, thank you so much. A couple of questions came in around how do folks get on the short list or put into the queue for the upgrade?
You just would call the support. Our support desk is based in South Carolina. It literally sits in the same building as our engineers, and give them a call and just ask to be added on to the, given a priority on the upgrade for 10.1.
Okay, next question is, will we see direct support for scale computing? It runs on KVM.
Yes, we are talking to Scale right now. In fact, I've written a joint customer success story with Scale called TESC, T-E-S-C, a company, a contracting company up in Canada, and we are in conversation with them right now.
Okay. As we've announced support for Nutanix, will we be supporting any other converged platforms?
Yes, right now we do have support for Cisco UCS systems, so that you can support and back up the entire Cisco UCS frame as well as the individual blades that are in it. And we are continuing to watch this evolution of hyperconverged, not that Cisco UCS is hyperconverged, but it is a higher order computing device than just your basic servers and storage. So this is an area that we watch very closely, and we'll be adding support for other hyperconverged vendors in the future.
Okay. Next question is, how can we tell which version of the software that we're running?
That's a good question. You know, it'd be good to call support and just check in with them to make sure that to see what level you're running at, and to schedule then immediately right away if you wanted to upgrade. I encourage you to contact support whenever you have an issue. We have a 98% customer satisfaction rating with our support organization, and you should be using them more rather than less.
Okay, next there's a couple questions around ransomware. With ransomware scanning every file, does it cause the backups to take that much longer to complete?
No. So what we do is generally we do a full backup when we first install the Recovery Series or Unitrends Backup Appliance in your environment. And from then on, we do an incremental only backup. That incremental only then ensures that we're not impacting the production servers or impacting them as little as possible, as well as allowing you to do backups more often. And all of that work of scanning the files and updating the master database and so forth is done on the backup appliance. So all of this capability about ransomware and examining the files and comparing them to the previous versions and so forth is all done on the Unitrends devices and not on the production servers.
Okay, next question is, does this update include a way to keep one backup a month for a year and daily backups for a month or similar?
10.1 does not include any changes to the normal archiving or replication schedules. So again, I would work with support to make sure that we are performing as the capabilities that you require.
Okay, next question is, can you speak to any revision and/or added reports under the new version of the console? And speaking with support, some reports are no longer available in the new console, but may be added under 10.1.
Yes, I don't know those. I don't know those off the top of my head to be able to talk to those. Again, I would call support and make sure that we have released 10.1. All of the support has been trained on 10.1, and if that conversation was prior to them being trained, they will have a better idea of exactly what reports are available now. Okay,
next question is, are there any features dependent on a specific appliance hardware generation?
No. These features, this 10.1 operating system is for all of our appliances, and there are no limits as far as previous versions. We do, have our pledge program in which you can get free hardware after 3 years of service, and so we encourage you to use that. But this 10.1 will run on all of our appliances.
Okay. The next question is, are there any improvements in backup or restore to tape?
Yes, there is a function where we are increasing the speed of tape. So that's a part of 10.1.
Okay. Next one is Unitrends GDPR compliant? If not, when is this projected to take place?
Yeah, that's independent of the operating system. I don't know that should be on our roadmap, and I'm just not up to date on the product roadmap to the point of being able to comment on that.
Okay. Next question is, when will 10.1 generally be available for all customers?
It is available now. It's been released to manufacturing. It is on all new boxes that are being shipped and available to customers as we speak.
Okay, let's see.
Sounds like we have a lot of questions.
We do.
That's good.
Here's one. With the incremental forever, are there plans to help limit the inflation of the synthetic backups where they can end up taking up a larger footprint on the appliance than a full backup of the same server?
I guess I don't understand the question enough to be able to comment on it. Generally, what we do is we, keep. It's your how long do you want to keep the backups, and how often you replace them with the next version. I think that fights that. But again, it's out of my league to comment on that.
Okay. There's questions about kind of the legacy interface and if that's available in 10.1 and when that will be phased out.
Yes, the legacy interface is still supported with 10.1. And there is part of the roadmap to move all of the remaining features from the legacy interface into the new interface, but that is not included in this 10.1.
Okay, let's see. Let's do one more question and then we'll wrap it up. If we didn't get to your question, we'll be farming these out to our team and they'll follow up with you. Last question is, so do we have to run a master backup job once the upgrade takes place?
Probably. I'm not sure how much they wipe out the disk, the hard drive, and then do a complete and total restore. That's something, again, that you should talk to support. They may be able to work around that or to make a copy of the backup onto another device and then restore that copy once the upgrade is done so that the production servers are left untouched.
Excellent. All right, Dick, well, thank you so much. We're just about out of time, so as a reminder, this webinar was recorded. You'll receive an email with a link to the on-demand version. We'll also announce the $100 gift card winner in that email as well. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to having you on future webinars. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.